Hi everyone, I thought I'd start a series on composition and try and keep these fairly quick for you as well. And this will be the first one. This is a shot with Amy in Bond Street with a red Ferrari, as we can see here. But I just want to talk about composition, maybe some different thoughts as well. Hi, I'm Tony Bramley. I've been a professional photographer for over 25 years. I help people just like you with my one-to-one training and group workshops. I provide judging for camera clubs and also, like you, shoot just for fun. Join me as I pass on a few wise words and probably some stupid ones too in a creative world called photography. So an interesting one, this one to start with, so let's take a look at it. Now this was the final image, and I was on a workshop and I said to the people on the workshop, if we see a good car, nice supercar, was working in and around Bond Street in London, and if we'd get one that was parked, we'd try and bring Amy in for some sort of photo with it. Not an easy thing to do, you know, just really working very, very quickly. If a car parks, how long is it going to stay there, particularly in central London, and then trying to work with whatever the environment there is there. And we did do some shots with her walking, but I quite like this little step by these doors as well, and tried to work with something else rather than the whole car. When it comes to like compositional elements, the original, which I will show you, was very, very busy. And you've also got to say to yourself, you know, what's important in the picture? What is the picture all about? And we're really talking in the kind of like figure-ground relationship here. Is the car going to be too powerful? Is it about the car? Is it about Amy? Generally with a model, with a person, it's going to be about the person, and then sometimes other things can overtake. But here it was about bringing a Ferrari into play, kind of like getting that Bond Street feel, and really working with the reds as well. So we have something quite ambiguous where you could say, well, you know, it's either or, and you may want to make the choice on that. Still, once you have a person come in, something like a model here with Amy, they're going to be fairly important. I also took this a bit further, as you can see with this presentation. I made it quite a bit about red, which is why we have that red background and some space here where Amy's looking into. We'll talk about Amy and where she's looking as well right at the very end, because that's an interesting one, and I will show you an image exactly the same, but where Amy's actually looking straight at camera at the viewer. So let's take a look at the original shot. I was shooting, as quite often on my workshops, over shoulders, because I tend to let everyone else get the better shot. And I will come in and get one for the model first of all, but this was a very quick ad hoc moment, and I said, get in there, get your shots. This is the shot I got, and you know, it generally could be the shot anyone gets. As we can see, you know, there's this boarding here. A lot of few things going on around here, and obviously the Ferrari itself. I went with this crop rather than the whole Ferrari, really because I quite like the tyre here. Okay, so for me it was kind of like the relationship here. I didn't want her looking towards the Ferrari, and I did quite like, sometimes I like the tension of people looking at a camera. It's just a little bit different than looking towards the camera, but like I said, we'll take a look at that afterwards. But for me the shot was going to end somewhere here. If you think about this boarding here, that really is quite intrusive, and you know, it's kind of like getting towards edge flicker, and anything towards an edge will tend to attract more attention. And in the final crop, as you saw, Amy was in that top corner, so I was using edge flicker really to actually bring you towards Amy. But here, this is quite intrusive. It's not really necessary for the picture, and I wanted to go with a tight crop on this wheel here, because it was really the wheel, the red Ferrari, kind of like this working along here to Amy. So that was really the plan. So cutting this out, there was a lot of space up here that's not needed, and that these Ferraris are quite long and thin, and we've got a kind of like a horizontal direction going on here. So I really wanted to go with a panoramic as well, so cutting a lot of this road out. So if we take a look at this picture here, it's all been worked in Adobe Camera Raw, or it might have been Lightroom actually, I can't remember on this one, but needed to come out into Photoshop for some additional work. And if we look here at, this is the final crop with some additional work, and I've got this one here with her looking into camera. So let's turn that off so you can see that, and that's the one I did go with. But you can see here on the door I actually removed some pieces here and some of the elements in this area here. So if we flick back to that, you can see there's like letterboxes and little highlights here. These door handles, a letterbox there as well. Also tidied up around the road area here. And you can see that's a lot cleaner and darkened it down just a little bit. I also flipped the Ferrari logo here and brought the brakes up just so that they were looking more readable, because it is about the Ferrari, so you can see that's a little bit to the side. I couldn't just rotate the whole wheel because of the perspective and the lighting, so it was literally this and this separately. But you can see that it tightens things up. It really brings your eyes more into play with these two elements. The Ferrari's still really, really big, and if you think about balance in composition and weight in particular, then you know this is extremely heavy. Very much high visual weight on this Ferrari, but it is part about the Ferrari. We always get attracted to a person because we generally get attracted to human beings because we are. So that tends to work. But popping her in the corner there is a strong area of the composition. Like I say, edge flicker, a person, kind of like that's why she's there. So one of those occasions where you can actually, you know, bring one of the main points of emphasis into a corner and make use of it. Does it work better like that? Do you know, in some ways, without that red background coming into play, it is stronger, isn't it? Because we get this kind of like direction from here going across to here. She comes to here and not looking back but coming out to us, so kind of like we end the visual journey of this picture with us because she comes out to us, and that really helps. So some of you may like this better because she is actually coming out to us. It is a strong image. It does work for sure. I'm quite happy with either. But some of you will say, well, yeah, she's looking out a picture and it takes you out here and takes you out a picture. I think you will always come back to the strength of this here. So you do kind of like get a movement going on there. But I do quite like the added tension that brings to that. In particular, that's why I really placed the framing of the whole picture down in this bottom right corner, because it comes out to red again and kind of like works with that red background. So yeah, your choice on that really. Yeah, there is a touch more strength I think in this one. I do like to play around with composition and visual flow, and you can make your choice on that. If we go back finally, I think it was this middle one here. No, it wasn't. I think it was this one here. You can see a big difference from like all of these other little things here and how it really tidies that up. Ideally you want to get in a bit closer, but like I say, I was shooting over shoulders. But a little bit of background story on the final crop on this picture and how I went with these things. And like I say, a second option really, and whether you like that as displayed there, or maybe with Amy looking straight into camera just to close that up from that top left hand corner. Hope you enjoyed this. Very quick for this one, and I'm going to try and post more just short 5-10 minutes videos, sometimes maybe a little bit longer if I'm working with Photoshop a little bit more with the editing, just to bring out some areas to discuss really on composition and thought processes on those. Many thanks.